recently sailed on Australia's worst rated cruise ship to find out for myself if it was really that bad. I saw a 4-night cruise on board P&O Australia's Pacific Adventure, and I figured since P&O Australia is merging with Carnival in March of next year, this would be my last chance to get on board a P&O ship. In light of that, here are 5 things I loved and 4 I didn't on board Pacific Adventure. But before that, let me begin by giving you a little bit of context about this ship's history. Pacific Adventure originally started life as the Golden Princess, sailing for Princess Cruises. She was launched in 2001 and showed a similar design to her sister ships: Grand, Star, Diamond, Sapphire, Crown, Emerald, and Ruby Princess. She also has 2 sisters in P&O UK's fleet, Azura and Ventura. She comes in at just over 108,000 gross tons, measures 290 meters in length, and it can accommodate 2,636 passengers across 14 passenger decks. In 2019, it was announced that the Golden Princess, along with her sister ship Star Princess, would join the P&O Australia fleet in October 2020 under the names Pacific Adventure and Pacific Encounter. Unfortunately, the pandemic delayed this. Pacific Encounter wouldn't start cruising with P&O until August 2022, while Pacific Adventure was not far behind, starting operations in September of the same year. Pacific Adventure has a scarily low rating on Cruise Critic, coming in at 2.9 stars out of 5. Prior to boarding the Adventure, I had read reviews like this, making me wonder if this cruise would live up to my expectations. First off, something I was pleasantly surprised by was the number of activities available on board. In terms of water slides, the ship offered 2 lengthy twin racer water slides consisting of 2 symmetrical slides running side by side, even featuring an open air section and even going off the side of the ship. This way, 2 people can race each other down the slides and try to beat your time record using a stopwatch at the bottom of the slides. Outside of the slides, there was the P&O Edge Adventure Park. P&O Edge is found on every P&O Australia ship and consists of extra cost activities such as rock climbing, knotted rope, abseil, walk the plank, lean out, slackline, bridge roof walks, and even a Titanic experience. These activities are pay-as-you-go, however, and then there are 3 different Edge passes available for purchase, each ranging from how many pre-booked activities you can do per day and how many activities you have access to. The prizes are quite hefty, but they are worth it if you do like to keep active during your cruise. Unfortunately, one thing I was disappointed about was the amount of items requiring an extra charge. It honestly felt like P&O were charging us for extras usually included in their competitors. Items such as a simple cake or coffee from one of the many onboard cafes, and even poolside pizza, burgers, or ice cream. Considering that most of P&O's competitors, such as Carnival or Royal Caribbean, offer these included in a cruise fare, it gives them a significant advantage in terms of budget friendliness. More about that later in the video. Another unnecessary charge was the P&O Edge, which I previously mentioned. I found the same activity, but often bigger on other cruise lines, and yet P&O still charges hefty prices such as $20 Australian for one turn on the skinny rock climbing wall, which I've compared to the rock climbing wall on my recent Royal Caribbean cruise in Quantum of the Seas, which was offered free of charge. Something on board that was very popular for those needing a quiet hideaway place enjoyed the wraparound promenade deck. These days, a full wraparound promenade deck on a cruise ship is almost unheard of. Luckily for all those sailing on Pacific Adventure and her sister Pacific Encounter, she comes equipped with a full-length promenade deck. This way, you can walk all the way from the stern of the ship to the bow and capture some incredible views of the ocean along the way. Now, building off my last dislike, something I found quite annoying is the lack of included dining options on board. Sure, P&O offers a large number of dining options, but unfortunately most are at an extra cost. P&O advertises 12 different included dining venues, but in reality, 9 of those are the food stalls in the onboard buffet. So in reality, the only included dining venues are the buffet and the 3 main dining rooms. This made it super hard to find a snack in between meal times without paying an absurd amount of money for it. This also extends to the main dining rooms, which charge insane rates for simple menu items, such as a cheeseburger or even an Eggs Benedict. Overall, if P&O want to stay ahead of its competitors, they need to start including more in the price of the cruise. One thing that this ship really outdid itself in was the number of pools on board. This ship offered 4 onboard pools for guests, plus a splash pad for the younger kids. The 4 pools include the 2 main pools, the second with a retractable Magadome roof, the Oasis, which is located the aft of the ship on deck 14 and is adults only, and the Byron Beach Club pool, located in the Byron Beach Club, which is the ship's suite-only area. This helps spread out crowds and is quite useful on a sea day. For some context, the Adventure boasts double the amount of pools on her main competitor, Carnival Splendor, which only offers 2, one of which being adults only. But while the pools were usually emptier than usual, that's where it stopped. As a major issue I noticed was the overcrowding. Lots of crowds and congestion built up in major areas such as the buffet, the main interior promenade, and the atrium, just to name a few. This would also be quite bad in elevator banks on the main decks, as the lifts would be unusually slow and inconsistent. While this isn't necessarily a deal breaker, it's just something to know if you require lots of space to move or if you have limited mobility. Something I believe P&O did mostly well on the ship is the interior decor. While there are a lot of spaces that are reminiscent of the ship's Princess Cruises days, you can tell that in a lot of the major areas, P&O did a great job renovating the ship. Some areas where this is mostly notable is the lobby, which is the onboard atrium, and the 3 main dining room areas, and especially the Adventure Hotel. You can tell these areas have been tastefully renovated with bright new colours and themes to tailor to the Australian market. Unfortunately, not all areas on board were updated, which was evident in areas such as the Marquee Theatre and the Altitude nightclub. These areas were like a portal back to the 90s and have a completely different look and feel to the bright modern areas such as the atrium. If you take a look at pictures of these areas when the ship was under the Princess Cruises ownership, you'll see that they were practically left untouched, which gives the impression that P&O either ran out of money or just couldn't be bothered to finish the job. Finally, one thing that really stood out to me compared to other cruise lines was the entertainment. Not only the amount, but the quality of the entertainment on this cruise really took me by surprise. And I would even go so far as to say that in terms of offerings, P&O has been my favourite so far. I've heard less than great reviews about P&O's shows, but I found them to be, for the most part, pretty entertaining. And the cast was always excellent. Seriously, I couldn't fault them once. Outside of the main productions, there were quite a lot of comedy shows performed by the cruise director, the activities teams, and even some high-ranking officers made an appearance. Among my personal favourites was the musical Murder Mystery, where the activity team acted out a musical murder mystery, which I found more funny than most comedy shows on land. Overall, it will be interesting to see if they keep most of the entertainment options once the ships go to Carnival in March of next year. Well, those were 5 things I loved and 4 I didn't on board Pacific Adventure. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more just like it, consider subscribing and liking the video. And if you've sailed on Pacific Adventure or plan to in the future, let me know about your experience in the comments. Go check out my Pacific Adventure vlogs next for more about this unique ship. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you over there.